All right, guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're here to tell you that mainstream comics is doing it wrong.
Yeah, we're not doing Mega Man right now.
We're not doing Mega Man.
Yes.
So
they actually did do Mega Man, but they're going to make those videos for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're actually going to do some Mega Man live, Mega Man gameplay videos. We're doing this one live because, again, it saves time. We're going to talk about comics. We're going to talk about a huge missed opportunity with mainstream comics, and part of the reason we think that mainstream comics is kind of freaking out right now, because I think if you start to look at the bigger picture, you'll see that mainstream comics does not have the clout, the power that it once did, and it's losing ground to independent creators. It's like at an alarming rate.
It's like Labyrinth. We were talking about that. It's like, you have no power over me. So we're going to talk about. So explain to them what's going on.
Okay, so this is actually really cool. Now, there's this YouTuber out there named Chadtronic. We've actually been following Chadtronic for a couple of years now.
He backed his Patreon.
He backed his Patreon back when he only had like a couple of dozen patrons. Chadtronic has been doing videos for, I think, about 6 years, 5 or 6 years now.
Our nephew is a huge Chadtronic fan, and he showed our kids. Now, our kids watch him all the time. So if Chadtronic watches this, hey, dude, our kids and our nephew absolutely love you, so go you.
He seems like a pretty cool guy. So Chadtronic, who has been spending the last few years doing a lot of retro commentary, reaction videos. He does a lot of reactions to like vintage commercials, like 80s and 90s commercials. He's definitely a 90s
training
kid.
videos.
Like cheesy, cringy stuff that people send him. He reacts to it. He does a lot of Nintendo and Pokemon videos.
Loves Pokemon. He
loves Pokemon.
He clearly grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly a kid of the 90s, and that comes into play with this as well. So anyway.
Yeah, so he is into all this like retro 90s stuff. Of course, one of the biggest things to happen in the late 80s, early 1990s is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I believe Chadtronic is probably a fan of Ninja Turtles because Chadtronic has launched his own comic book this week.
Right.
And normally it'd be like, well, so what? A lot of people launch comic books.
He started his own company, and he bought a building. And he hired an artist, and he's doing all these things. He's even making toys and stuff with this, guys. I mean, he's going all out, okay? So he's not even part of this whole mainstream fiasco. I don't think he's even aware of this whole mainstream fiasco.
I think he's blissfully unaware of what's going on in mainstream comics right now.
And you know what? You know what else is funny? You watch his videos, you don't know what his politics are. You don't know who he votes for. You don't know what his agenda is. You don't know any of these things because it's not our business. That's his business, and that's not what he does. He does really cool, fun videos about, reactions to really weird things, and he has a lot of followers, I think, that are younger. Yeah. And his stuff is just fun for fun and has nothing to do with politics, and he has a huge following, and that translated into this.
Yeah, he's doing a comic called Teenage Fighting Food Dudes. I think he's doing a toy line to go with it. Somebody asked, is the comic on Indiegogo or Kickstarter? No. None of the above. He actually, because he's a successful YouTuber, he actually paid cash money and got the books printed. Just got them printed.
He hired an
artist, and he got the books printed. And, here he is signing his books.
Now, I love this. Look how happy and blissfully unaware they are.
I know, right?
They're so happy, like, yay, look, we did something fun. It's just fun for fun. And I'm so happy that the artist is just smiling. No, first of all, Chadtronic is the blonde person. And the artist, which you have his information.
The artist is Brian Farrar. I've never heard of Brian, but here's his Twitter page. He's got about 1,700 followers. He's hanging with a bunch of YouTube guys. Now, this must be Chadtronic's. I'm assuming the green screen. That must be like, he painted the walls all green. That must be like his building.
Which is actually not that. I mean, that's actually a pretty good idea. So
yeah, that actually is a good idea.
But they look so happy in that picture. They're just happy because they created something, and they're signing it, and they're very happy about it. People are liking it, and you can tell they're blissfully unaware of the probably crap storm that will befall them shortly.
Yeah, so this is oh, hey, Rob the Wonderful got a copy. Awesome. Yeah, so why we're doing a video on this, okay? Because Chadtronic exists outside of the comic book industry bubble. Okay, he's an outlier. He reads comics for fun. I don't think he's ever made comics before. He's definitely not part of the industry.
He just
likes
stuff.
Likes to make comics.
He
right?
likes to review toys and geek stuff, and he he grew up in the '90s and he knows what he likes. He loves Nintendo stuff. He always walks around with a Nintendo pillow.
Oh yeah, he's got his Nintendo pillow.
So he just likes stuff because he likes it because it's fun.
Yeah, which is how things should be, right? So there is no. They said there's another shoe dropping.
This is pure joy on their faces.
Yeah, this is how comics used to be. Like back in the day when indie creators did comics, this is how they used to make them.
And look, I want to give them my money because they're just happy to do it, and they just love doing it, and they're doing it because they love it, not because they're trying to, tell you what to think.
Right. So I think Chadtronic is, I'm gonna guess that he's blissfully unaware of all the drama in comics, and I hope to God it stays that way. But no, there is no other shoe dropping because we want to show you what good can happen to good people who make comics for fun and who keep their nose clean and they circumvent the gatekeepers in comics.
Yeah, for now until they come find them.
Well,
which
okay.
I'm sure will befall them eventually. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so Chadtronic doing this comic. I'm going to show you a little bit here. I'm going to show his trailer. And again, at first that's kind of like, oh my God, it looks like Ninja Turtles, Street Sharks, and Food Fighters all rolled in one. But then I'm like, oh my God, it's Ninja Turtles, Street Fighter, Food Fighter, Street Sharks, all that rolled into one. That's very Chadtronic. That's like all the stuff he's into. And I think it looks pretty cool. For what it is. I mean, it's just a fun comic, a very, very 90s kind of a comic. So he's got his trailer. He's talking about his comic. Again, he did not crowdfund this comic. He just dropped the comic. He went and paid up front and had them the other show following. No, there was no other show. I'm sorry about the shoe. I'm sorry. Yes, the other shoe following. We're doing this live, so I can't edit. We're not as polished as Chadtronic over here at CLOWNFISH TV. But anyway, he just had the books printed. There's no crowdfunding. He's just like, hey guys, I've got comic books coming like next month. And
he said he worked
there they were.
for a year. It was a secret project for a year. And like I said, he's making toys of these as well, which I don't have that pulled up to find it.
Yeah.
But my nephew is, all about this. He was asking me what I thought about it and everything. And he's ready to buy the toys and everything. He's like, I'm saving my money. He just,
Yeah. So there is no other shoe following here. And I want to show you something really cool. Okay, so he put this video up. I think this was today.
He put up
yesterday.
Now, what happened?
Yesterday.
We have to backtrack. What happened was when he listed this up on Amazon, there was an issue. He sold 700 books in 5 hours. 700 books on Amazon
in 5 hours.
5 hours. But as a result, Amazon was like, whoa, what's going on? It's a newer account. Of course, they, got worried, so they locked it down.
They locked his account because he started the new account. He sold, get this, okay, first attempt at a comic book that I'm aware of.
It's Chadtronic.
He sold too many books and Amazon closed his account. He sold in 5 hours a guy who's never done comics before. Just because of YouTube, just because he's got over 500,000 subs on YouTube, he's got a lot of goodwill, he's got a great fandom, sold 700 floppy comics in like 5 hours. No crowdfunding.
Right.
No build up, just surprise, the comics are,
Because he had a platform on YouTube. And he had fans on YouTube. His platform. I mean, yes, I don't have the money. Most of us don't have the money just to go do this, but he does because he's built up a platform. He spent years building up to this point where, and apparently this is what he's been trying to do. So anyway, it caused his account to be shut down. They did get it fixed.
Yeah,
it's
they got
up.
fixed.
You can go to Amazon right now and buy this book. They got it fixed. It's all back up and good. So we went and looked and we found some interesting things. Okay. Go ahead. Show them the interesting things.
Okay, well, I want to talk about, because this is why, okay, on top of, we talk about, the people doing the Indiegogos and stuff, and they're circumventing these gatekeepers, and just how sad this actually makes a lot of people in mainstream comics look. Because again, Chadtronic is not one. He doesn't talk about politics on his channel. He's just a fun guy. He just makes fun videos.
You don't know what his personal politics are because it doesn't matter. And some of the reviews even talk about this book. They're like, it's just fun. It's just fun for fun. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, okay, so now his comic is back up on Amazon, and I want to show you this because this is very
I showed
cool.
you it.
Yeah, actually, Geeky pointed this out to me. Okay, so. And again, people are talking about Chadtronic having the money to do it. Yeah, he has 500,000 subs.
But he worked his butt off to get it.
He's been doing this for like 5 or 6 years.
A while.
Yeah, he's got a pretty sizable audience. obviously there to support him. He did not have to crowdfund his book. He's just like, hey guys, I'm selling a comic book, and they went out and they bought his comic book.
I don't think he comes from the comic background to know about these things
the
anyway.
Drama.
and he's avoiding it. And like someone said, the comics mafia is going to come from. I'm sure they're going to, which is what we're going to talk about. But go ahead.
Oh, Nicholas Horton. We did reread Rainbow Bright issue 1 too. That's another video. But let's
doing a video
talk about
too.
some positive things here. Teenage Fighting Food Dudes #1 by Yojoyco. That's his company. So let's go down to Amazon and see how it's selling. Okay, this is actually, he put that video up yesterday. It's number 210 in books currently.
But when we looked at it a few hours ago, it was like 170, and I'm sure it was less than, it was a lower number than that. Closer to when the video came out. So it's actually gone up a little bit to the, to higher. Right. But that's in books as a whole. That's not like in graphic novels. That's in all of books on Amazon. All of books on Amazon.
Let's recap here. A guy who's never done a comic book before that we're aware of. Okay, who just happens to have a sizable platform on YouTube, and I mean it's sizable. It's not massive. I mean he still has under 1 million subs, but 500,000 plus, almost 600,000. That's
and understandable too.
Sizable.
A lot of them I think are younger viewers, and they're not all going to go out and buy the book. I mean they don't have the money to buy the book or whatever, and they're not comic book people necessarily that are his fans.
Right.
So take that into consideration as well.
And welcome aboard, Jason Lee. Nice to see you here. But in all of Amazon and all of the books on oh no, we're having issues with the stream. Okay, well hopefully when this gets posted, for reals, we won't have those problems. In all of Amazon, 210 in books. It was under 200 earlier today, and probably was in the top 100 yesterday when it launched. I'm assuming. So for his little comic book, he never had done a comic before, just because of his goodwill in YouTube. So let's go out to Amazon's best sellers for graphic novels, and let's see how these major publishers stack up against Chadtronic and his little YouTube.
Now remember,
book.
his book was number 210 in all of books, not graphic novels, all of them.
Right, all books, not just comic books. Now, #1, I will say that they have them beat here. Saga. If you go down to the Amazon ranking for Saga, it is 122 in books. Okay, that's for Saga though. That's for freaking Saga.
I can understand it for Saga.
Right. So that is the top selling comic book. But then it starts to get. Now let's go. Now Captain Marvel. This isn't really fair because it's actually they're throwing the Kindle version in. I think the print version of Captain Marvel is actually like 33,000 or something. So let's go to My Hero Academia and see where it is.
So My Hero Academia is actually pretty good.
Of course it's good. Yeah, it's really good. But I'm just saying, let's see how Chadtronic's little homemade comic book stacks up against My Hero Academia. 183 in books. Earlier today, Chadtronic was 179 in books.
It was 170, then 179,
right.
Yeah.
My Hero Academia is 183. Let's go here. Sabrina. Well, this is another Kindle one, so I'm going to skip over the Kindle ones.
The Kindle ones, but
yeah. So
my point is,
let's go to the next print one. Okay, Anthony Bourdain's Hungry Ghosts. R.I.P. Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain's Hungry Ghosts is number 403. So the next print comic on the top 10 list is number 403 in all of the books on Amazon. Chadtronic, who does not have his book listed in graphic novels and comics, and he should. Mm-hmm. I don't think he knows to do this because he's not really a comic book guy. Let's go look here. Let's pick another one. Walking Dead. Let's see. So we know that Chadtronic is outselling The Walking Dead on Amazon. 736. Okay, so the point, and we know for dang sure it's outselling Iceman. Iceman at one point was like in the millions. I love it because they're like, oh, we brought Iceman back because of such demand for the graphic novels. Now, again, to be fair, yeah, it's 83,000.
That's also out for a while.
It's been out for a while. Now, to be fair about this is not comic shop sales. I don't know if he's selling this comic. Yeah, actually, Anthony Bourdain has written multiple graphic novels. Anthony Bourdain was a huge comic book fan. So, R.I.P. Anthony Bourdain. Anyway, the point of this being is that this shows you, again, we're trying to show you like what the future of comics is going to look like. And this is mattering less and less and less and less. Selling comics directly to your audience, building an audience, wherever you build them, however you build them, and selling books directly to them. Again, it can't be, stated enough. This is the future. This is how comics are going to be made.
Right. And like I said, everybody's saying about this guy having money and stuff. Yes and no. I mean, honestly, I don't know if he makes that much money. But here's the thing is, like, even if he does have money, he built up his platform over the course of a few years, and then he used his platform. And I keep saying it does matter. Platform does matter. People can say it doesn't, but it does. You need if you have a platform, of course you're going to do better on crowdfunding than somebody who doesn't. But I'm just saying, take the time and build up. If you build up an audience, you can turn around and you can do this. Now go to the reviews. I think it's interesting to see the reviews on it. Go back here.
This is his people, I think.
Right. He asked for reviews, but it's interesting. People say they're talking about. Let me see. Yeah, here. Comic book shines with brilliant artwork and a fun, frivolous story plot. Yes, it's not political. It's a fun. Here comes the Russians again. It's a
Russians are gonna stop this broadcast.
Story plot. It's not about politics. It's not about identity. It's not about all these other things. It's about a fun, frivolous book. And it's not. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be. Fun. So I keep saying that, but that's what it is.
No, but that's, again, this is kind of the future. This is where comics are going to go. And now, again, I don't know if Chadtronic is going to do a whole lot more comics, or he's just doing it because he thought it'd be fun to do a comic book, and he's going to get more toys. I can see him getting into game development, obviously, because that's his thing. But, when you have an outlier like Chadtronic, who's not part of the comic book industry, come in and make mainstream publishers look bad, that says so much. That says so much.
Okay, I have to stop for a minute. Do I know how hard it is to build up an audience? Yes, I clearly do know how hard it is to build up an audience, because we spent many years building up an audience, and it is not easy, especially in today's world where there's so many people popping up in comics.
Yeah.
So yes, I do have a clue of how hard it is to build an audience.
It's hard. Give
me an idea. Someone's on the chops and it sucks, but that's how it is. Well, you know what? Then you try harder, because you know what? If you just take no for an answer, then you're just going to get no for an answer.
You can do it.
Because
you can do it.
If you really want to do it, you can do it, and it's hard. And do I not? Do I know? Yes, I know. I do know. Thank you. I've done it. It's a pain in the ass, and it's not easy. And I never said it was.
No,
I'm
it's
just
not easy,
saying he built up an audience that was actually something completely different from comics, which is actually a lot easier.
Yeah, Chadtronic.
And then he leveraged that.
Right now, Chadtronic did not start out rich. Like, the dude did not. I don't even think he's rich.
He worked a job, and he
was working like retail or something. I think he
I
was
don't know
working.
What he worked, but I know he worked a job.
I think he was working retail or something. I don't know what he was doing, but he was, and he started his YouTube channel. I think it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
He didn't start out rich. He didn't start out with a huge audience. I remember back when he didn't have that many subscribers.
We subscribed to Chadtronic when he was under 100,000.
Right.
And now the thing with YouTube is once you hit like 100,000, then your channel tends to.
I mean, we fight every day to try to build our platform up on YouTube, and we just aren't going up that much that fast. But that's the way it is. But in comics, it is impossibly flipping hard to get your book out there. I mean, especially now when everybody and their brother has a comic on, Webtoons or whatever.
Yeah.
So do I know? Yes, I know.
Yeah, but we're basically.
You don't have to be charming. You just have to be smart.
Yeah, be smart and be nice to people. Being nice to people. My God, that's such a rare thing in comics today.
I'm not charming.
I'm very debonair. No, I'm not. I just, what I'm saying is it's amazing how far just being nice to potential customers can get you. It's
amazing how much not making everything about politics can get you. But you don't have to have charisma. It doesn't have to be innate. You have other skills. Learn what your skills are. This is to everybody. Learn what you are good at and leverage that.
Yeah.
You're not very good at charisma, but you're very good at being online and getting stuff out there. Use it. Maybe you have a friend who's extremely good at something like talking to people, and you're not. Get your friend to help you talk to people. You can totally do it. You just have to figure out what makes you, and what your voice is, and what parts of what you're doing you think will appeal to a mass audience, and then you need to leverage that.
Charisma.
You need to.
We're gonna call this charisma.
Who would do that? Squid King.
Yes, he would.
Not in front of people, because he's shy as can be.
Squeaking's really
but he would
shy,
totally do that. He would totally do that. And actually, he'd probably like take his comics and like money and like he would.
I would actually agree with this. Now, Slithering Peanut, you can learn charisma. When I was a kid, I was really kind of awkward and introverted and angry. I'm still angry. I'm still awkward. I'm not introverted though.
No, you're not. Actually, it's weird. I'm actually the shy one. If we go to places, I'm the one up against the wall trying to pretend like I'm invisible, and Neon's the one interacting with everybody. And he'll walk back and oh, that's so and so, and he has 3 kids and does it. How do you know? I asked him. It's like, that's weird, but okay. But you can learn how to be this way. You can learn how to interact with people.
Yeah. And give people what they want, and don't insult it. Again, this is just trying to show why are people, because everybody's trying to say guys like Richard Meyer and EVS were just like oh my god, they the only reason people are giving them money is because it's some political thing. And no, it's more like, look, this guy came out of left field. He's not political at all. He drops a comic book. He's got a decent audience.
He does reaction videos to bad videos,
right? And he's like freaking outselling these major, with the exception of Saga and My Hero Academia, he's outselling like everything on Amazon right now. It's crazy. And the guy doesn't even have his comic listed in comics and graphic novels, you know?
So the point is, and he just started. We don't know where it's going to go.
We don't know if he's going to keep doing comics.
But the point is about all this is everybody's so worried, you have to be in the mainstream, and this whole gatekeeping thing is a crock of crap. And why are they freaking out? Because they want to control everything. Like you were saying the other day to me, about the fact that a lot of these people, the gatekeepers, webcomics were getting away from them, and webcomics were starting to do things they couldn't control. Yeah. So now all these publishing people are over at Webtoons, running everything.
It is okay, so we're seeing this, and I mean, I'll go off on a little bit of a tangent here. We're seeing this with even crowdfunding, right? So, and this is how it started. Originally, web comics were the original kind of punk. Well, they weren't the original punk comics. The original, punk comics were the indie comics in the 70s and 80s. A lot of the early direct market stuff, like Ninja Turtles, like Cerebus, those comics. And that kind of gave rise to these indie creators being able to get their stuff out there. And then webcomics came along, and webcomics, again, you had a lot of outliers who were able to finally build audiences. And when webcomics started, making money, they were making mainstream comics look bad. So they, again, tried to, now they're trying to infiltrate webcomics.
First, they tried to make it amateur. They tried to call them amateur.
They tried to put them down. They tried to put we were there when they were doing it, and that went for years.
And when that didn't work, then we got to take over and control it. And that's what they keep trying to do. They want to control everything. And when they can't control it, then their answer is to lash out, belittle, whatever they think they need to do to gain control.
Right.
They can't control YouTube, so they're lashing out at YouTube people.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to control this guy. He's an outlier. He's coming in and making them look bad.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come after him for something.
Somebody at some point, if it hasn't happened already, just because, I think it's because he's not listed in the comics and graphic novels, but people are they're going to take notice of his success, and they're going to, slither up to him and try. Have you chosen a side in comics yet? Let us tell you about these awful people in comics. Let us tell you about
our Lord and Savior in the mainstream comics.
Yeah, right.
It's like, just, this person can do this. People can do this, and you do not need their permission.
No.
You do not need, their acceptance. You don't need any of that. And I mean, this guy has nothing to do with these people. He's completely out of everything involved in this, and I hope he stays that way.
I hope he
really
does.
Do.
I don't want to see Chadtronic. I mean, honestly, Chadtronic seems like a pretty happy guy. I don't want to see guys like Chadtronic ruined
or forced to say what his politics are. No one cares what your politics are.
Just to be part of the comic book industry.
Yeah, no. It doesn't matter.
So I mean, it's and I agree with Captain Cummings. There are some really odd 70s comics, but no, it's interesting. So they try to control webcomics, and they're kind of doing that with Webtoons. Webtoons basically came in and sort of took over the webcomic scene, and now they're pushing Marvel creators that are friends with the folks that are running it, and it's kind of the same people coming back in. So now they're kind of gatekeeping webcomics to some degree. But Kickstarter, especially Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, that's a whole. We didn't talk about that, did we?
No, I don't think we've ever talked about that.
No, you've mentioned it before. You mentioned this was going to happen. You did. You mentioned
I sounded the warning bells, and nobody seemed to listen to me. And I said, they're bringing somebody in to basically oversee the Kickstarter projects, which ones are going to get promoted, how they're, whatever. And this person has already made their political views known and what kinds of books they're looking.
That's exactly what you think it would be.
To promote over other books, where it used to be Kickstarter actually like we had Project of the Day before. It was actually pretty democratic. It was like whatever project was getting a lot of mileage, that would be Project of the Day, or it would get featured or something like that. And then all of a sudden now Kickstarter. So now because Kickstarter has sort of become the farm team for the mainstream comic book industry, right? Because they were
a certain side of the mainstream comic book.
Right. So now we've got to gatekeep Kickstarter too. So everybody's going to Indiegogo now for their comics, and we're just seeing a huge explosion, in the crowdfunding over there. But and it's just a matter of time though, I think, until people are trying to like, no, you have to be part of the industry.
But anyway, the point was, you called this months ago that this person was known for certain politics, and that was going to start to force out certain people that were deemed unacceptable by the mainstream.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly
certain
what happened.
campaigns aren't getting allowed to be put through, and things are being stalled out on different things. And that's exactly what happened. And this person didn't even need to do that. So
no, yeah, like Chadtronic didn't. He's got the resources to do it, but he basically just printed a bunch of books up and told his followers he had books for sale, and they bought the hell out of them. Oh man, Captain Cummings is tired and broken.
You can do it.
You can do it, sir.
We believe in you.
Gatekeepers must go. Gatekeepers are going. Gatekeepers are, again, this is like, I gotta tell you, I'm actually excited about comics now. I haven't been excited about comic books in years. Like, we spent so much of our lives chasing comics, so much time.
So when
before
I'm talking about building a platform, we aren't talking about on YouTube. This has been recent. We're talking about building it in comics, which is way harder than YouTube. So you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're just saying, like, we we would eat, sleep, and breathe comics for years. Before even getting into comics, doing comics, and then, the industry just took a dive. It just took a dive, both, financially and, with the people in the industry acting the way that they're acting. And it was just like, seriously, like Geeky wasn't, but I was ready to just wash my hands of it and walk away. And this is like,
I've been trying to get new pages out of him. He just wouldn't do it.
I didn't want to. I hated
Yeah,
comics.
I know. You made it very clear.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Which in turn pissed me off and just made his life more miserable.
But no, it got to a point where, like, I didn't see the point anymore. Comics was depressing. It was depressing for me. It was sad. But I'm seeing stuff like this. I'm seeing stuff like this. I'm seeing stuff with the Indiegogo campaigns. I'm seeing there being so many more ways to make comics and make it financially viable too. And I'm seeing so many people thinking outside the box now that I'm actually excited about comics again. I think comics actually has a future. The future is not going to be Marvel and DC and mainstream comics. I think that ship has sailed. But the future is going to be this.
We do wash our hands.
Yeah, we do.
And actually, Neon's washed them all the time because he's like a phobic about that kind of stuff. Anyway,
I'm a germaphobe.
He's so afraid
I totally am. I'm like really weird about it.
You said about like comics. Where's the picture? Where's the picture you had of him and they're doing the signings? You see that picture, and they're just so happy.
Yes.
How could you not be happy about comics?
Oh, thank you. You don't have to give us money, but thank you. $2. Thank you very much, Degaz Rune. Okay,
Look how happy they are. This makes me happy to see how happy they are.
Like, okay, I know I'm old, and I know that, like, but this, back in the 90s, when I wanted to do comics, you saw guys just like this at their Artist Alley table wearing their black t-shirts, signing comic books and grinning from ear to ear because people were buying their comic books that they worked so hard on and they freaking loved to make. These guys love this comic book.
You can tell.
They love this comic book. They loved working on it. They loved that people loved their comic.
Yay.
And that's what we need again. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying like, well, it's just a bunch of white guys in black shirts. No, not at all. I'm just saying we need joy. We need joy and happiness in freaking comic books because it's been missing for so long.
I guess you're going to have to draw Bowsette again.
I have to draw Bowsette again.
Anyway. But happy comic guys. How can that be? Because you're supposed to make it all about politics. I know, and it's. I just hope to God they don't come after him for like, what are your politics, or you can't be in the club.
Keep this man pure and innocent, and keep him away from these nasty comic book gatekeepers. These are miserable people, and this.
Well, I hope he gets into comic shops. I do, because
Yeah.
comic shops, I think, need boost, and I think the more independents can get into comic shops, the more it'll keep comic book shops around. But then again, the ones that aren't going to support independents, they need, then they deserve what they get. That's all I'm going to say. If they're going to toe the line of a certain individual who makes threats, then they don't deserve to stay in business. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen. I think regardless, I mean, obviously comic shops have to diversify, but I think for creators, comic shops aside, and I would love, to be able to support comic shops if I can find them. We don't have any. I mean, we bought Rainbow Bright #1 to review it, and we had to buy it on Comixology because I'm not driving 45 minutes to go review Rainbow Bright #1.
That video will come tomorrow, guys.
Oh God, it was.
Yeah.
Kiki's got thoughts. She's got a notebook.
I got lots of thoughts.
Full of
I do.
thoughts.
I have a notebook with notes. Go ahead.
But again, for comic book creators, there's Amazon, there's Comixology, there's, Indiegogo, Patreon. There's so many ways to get your comics out there. You don't need these nasty, negative people anymore. And they're terrified. They know you don't need them. Now, just to put this in perspective, okay, and I want to show this, this is kind of the power that individual YouTubers have. And I'm going to bring this up again. Chadtronic, again, here is 700 books in 5 hours on Amazon just by saying, hey, guys, I have a comic book. And most of these people probably aren't comic book readers. They're just supporting Chadtronic because they like them. Chadtronic has 590,000 subscribers, okay? Chadtronic's videos... Let's go out to Chad and see about his average views on his videos. I just want to prove a point here. With 500,000 subscribers, which is that's good. That's good for, most people. But look, most of his videos get hundreds of thousands of views, and I think Geeky knows where I'm going with this.
No, I really
Okay,
don't.
so hundreds of Chadtronic, a guy working out of it. I think he works out of his house, is getting hundreds of thousands of views on his videos.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
Yes. I know where you're getting.
With 500,000.
I know where you're going.
Okay, with 500,000 subscribers. Because
it.
people like Chadtronic. They like Chadtronic. He's a nice guy. They connect with him. Let's go out to Marvel.
He was a jerk about his Pokemon card. They kept blaming his friend for it.
Yeah, I know, right?
And his Charizard card was in his manga books. And that,
he probably sold the Charizard card.
He should not have blamed his friend for that. But anyway.
Sold Charizard card to pay for his comic books. Let's go out to Marvel Entertainment. Marvel Entertainment with 8.5 million subscribers, like many, many times what Chadtronic has. Been online longer than Chadtronic. Let's go see what kind of interaction that... Oh, look! Marvel Entertainment, 8.5 million subs. Here we go. 1.8 thousand views. 29,000 views. 8,000 views, 12,000 views.
Even go back at ones that are from 2 weeks ago or something.
Even 2 weeks ago. We're going back now. Some of the trailers get a lot of mileage.
Well, that's because they're trailers.
But this cringy video, that it only got mileage because everybody made fun of it. I mean,
it was pretty bad.
Look, Chadtronic with 1/16th, 1/20th of the subscribers that the major corporation like Marvel Comics, okay, is pulling in hundreds of thousands of views on each of his videos, and Marvel is lucky if they can hit 25 or 30,000 views on most of their recent videos. Do you see how broken this is? It's just sad. It's just sad to see. Again, this is the difference. This is these guys don't understand YouTube.
Someone said
about what are
you about? It took me a minute to realize where he was going with this, and then I did realize where he was going with it, because I know him. Because after being married as many years as we've been married, I usually pretty much know where he's going to go. I know what he's going to do before he does it. I literally sat in the car today because I knew we were going somewhere, and I waited. I was counting to see how long it would take him to say something, and he said it when he got in the car, and I was like, I knew you'd say that. Anyway.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, she does. She knows me very well. Will you review any Comic Gate books when they come out? I don't know. We're not a comic review channel. The only reason, now we had Mark Polton on, who was a pleasure to talk to. We're hoping they get some other folks on who are doing indie comics, whether they're CG.
I'm sure we'll be buying this one.
Right. Whether they're CG or not, I don't care. To me, comic books are comic books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what camp you're in. Do I like your comic? Yes or no? And it really should be that simple. It should be that simple. With the Rainbow Bright comic, the only reason we're reviewing that is because it is, we talk a lot about 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And we did talk about before, we had sort of concerns. We're afraid they're going to make her, a teenager. Thankfully, they didn't do that, but it wasn't any better than it was. If you
save it for the video,
we're gonna save it for the video. Okay, but we are gonna do a Rainbow Bright review. So yeah, Jim Lee understands it. Again, Marvel, and they might be subscribing for the movies, but these people are failing miserably. Marvel Comics is failing so hard at connecting with comic book readers, connecting with just regular folks on YouTube. Like, they don't get it. It's like watching, your parents trying to be hip and failing miserably at. Maybe we're the parents that are.
Now you know what Squid King feels like.
Now I know what Squid King feels like. But no, I'm just saying, like, it's not working for them with all of their money and all of their resources. Marvel can't pull together what these YouTubers, these comic YouTubers are doing, what guys like Chadtronic are doing, because they just don't have that, whatever that it factor is. Maybe it's just being sincere and genuine, maybe just they're not. It's sad, because they should be, Marvel should be getting hundreds of thousands of views at minimum on every video they put out. Even if it's freaking Spider-Man's cooking show, they should be getting hundreds of thousands of views. But 1.8 thousand, that's freaking, you have to try that hard to fail. So yeah, are they freaking out? Yeah, because
if they aren't yet, they're going to be. I don't know if it's hit their tension yet, but he's gonna start kicking their butts. Now, like I said, he's not in the actual graphic novel, so maybe they haven't flagged it yet. I just wonder how long it's gonna be till it starts getting more and more momentum, and then they're gonna be like, well, you didn't pay your dues to Club Comics, so we're here to collect.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to be like, you haven't paid your dues. How dare you outsell us, Chadtronic? Who do you think you are? And by the way, who did you vote for? Because that's important to us for some weird freaking reason.
But insincere and disingenuous. Yeah, I know. I that one video with the Comic-Con, I do think it was deliberately meant to be cringy. But that one girl, her facial expressions and stuff, she just was like so ridiculously fake. I just wanted to like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. You're hurting me.
They physically were bored. Causing me pain. All seemed bored.
It was the opposite effect of what you wanted. It's like looking at you makes me physically pain, and I just can't take it. So it's like,
Captain Cummings says Marvel has a dead YouTube channel. I cannot understand how, with 8.5 million subscribers, you can only pull in a couple of thousand views on videos, and some of those videos actually were topical. It wasn't like I'm just like I'm astounded. Like, that is like failure of a completely different level. Like, somebody at Disney has to be watching this and being like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, this is all you can do? And then they go out to guys like Ethan Van Sciver and Richard Meyer, people they don't like. They go out to their channels and they see, tens of thousands of views, tons of interaction.
Some people try to do YouTube channels and it just didn't work.
Yeah, because they weren't likable. Yeah. Let's be honest. They weren't.
That's why our numbers aren't going up very fast. We're just not likable. I don't know. That's possible because, I'm all kinds of, I call all kinds of names. But yeah, no, her face, I just couldn't, first of all, one of my biggest pet peeves is people that are fake. I hate fakeness. And one of the things I can do, and Neon can, vouch for this, is if I'm around somebody or see somebody or, talk to somebody or whatever for a few minutes, I'm usually pretty good at reading them. I usually get a good handle on them, and this person just screams fake to me, and it just physically is like, I can't look at this because it's causing me pain. Anyway, You're just so fake, I just want to slap you.
Yeah, that's what she does to me.
Slap you because you're fake.
Did we see the Man-Eaters author comic release party? Yeah, that was awful.
Did. That was as a woman.
That's just bad taste.
Woman, I'm sure that was bad taste.
It's just bad
taste. If you eat
taste.
with your eyes first, no one's going to eat those cupcakes. But
no.
I was like, why? Seriously, okay, I'm a woman, and what makes me a woman, the first thing about what makes me a strong female isn't thinking, let's make tampon cupcakes. That's just, call me crazy.
Oh my God. It's just so, these people are just, if somebody says that they don't human well, they don't. Dynamo says Chadtronic should avoid physical contact with everyone, actual comment. I hope to God he does.
I do.
I'm going to be
if you're watching this, Chadtronic,
Chad, if you're
stay
watching
away from
this,
these people. They will crush your dream.
Stay the hell away from comic book conventions. Don't talk to people. Just sell your comics on Amazon. Keep doing you on YouTube. Go to
keep doing you.
Keep I want to see Chadtronic smiling.
Yeah.
I want to see a smiling, happy Chadtronic. If Chadtronic gets into the mainstream comic book industry as poisoned and toxic as it is right now, Chadtronic's not going to be smiling for much longer, and I don't want to see that.
I'm hoping that
we need more
he can avoid a lot
people
of
in
the
comics.
crap. But what else is going on?
That's about it. I thought this is really interesting. And we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see more of this. I think we're gonna see more of this in comics. We're gonna have more outliers, people who are just like completely out of left field that want to make comic books, and they're gonna be able to make comic books, and they're gonna outsell mainstream publishers because they've got the platform and they've got the it factor, and they're giving people what they want.
Plus, he's hiring artists and paying people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's jobs for other people, and it's really good. And I just think it's exciting. Yeah, they were tampon. They were like, I think they were cupcakes, weren't they? But they looked like they were like red on top with tampons sitting on them.
God.
At least they didn't put red on the end of the tampon, which would have been completely worse. What did you say about tampons with that book or something?
Oh no, I guess the joke with that book. Now I haven't read Man Eaters, but I guess they start, and this is great. They start the comic with a little girl playing with tampons, is dressed up as superheroes.
You know
and
what?
They're fighting each other.
As a girl, and who has had many friends that were girls, and has worked with girls, and who has a daughter, we don't dress up tampons like superheroes. Yeah. Normal girls don't do that. I don't know where the hell they got that idea from. I mean, most women don't go, oh, look, there's a tampon. That tampon would make a fantastic Superman. Oh, look at this tampon. I think this one should be Wonder Woman. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it was.
I saw the Crimson
gross.
Punch,
I have
too.
no desire. I mean, clearly that book is not for me. Being a dude, but
it's not for me, and I'm a girl.
I don't know who would want to read it. I really don't. But yeah,
you're not gonna come to my period themed parties that I'm gonna have from now on.
No.
I mean, if you think go a blood party, you think it's gonna be themed something like Carrie or something.
Oh,
not that.
But yeah, so this is exciting. Again, this is just one example. This is just one example of people coming in from the outside making comics, and anybody can make comics, and there are no more gatekeepers, and they are becoming obsolete. And I've never been more excited about actually making comic books now, because you don't need these people. You don't need their approval.
And if you're worried,
you don't need them.
If you're worried that you're like, oh, I'll never get it, I need a platform, because you do. I mean, I'll be honest with you, you need a platform to get the money these people get and do things they do, of course. But you know what? Look at what your strengths are. Don't think, well, I'm not Chadtronic. I'm not as, photogenic, or I'm not as fun on camera, or whatever. That, there's other ways to build a platform that doesn't even involve YouTube. We built ours up someplace else, and it wasn't even on YouTube. Actually, our YouTube kind of did nothing until I started getting mad at Shira.
Yeah, our YouTube...
And Jem. That was another one of our popular videos.
It was so weird. Yeah, that's how
what the hell was that?
Yeah, the YouTube channel got kind of blew up when Geeky started ranting about 80s stuff being desecrated. But before that, it was me and Squid King just playing games. I mean, we really weren't doing YouTube. We built our webcomic up in an environment when it really was very hard to build your webcomic up. It's almost impossible at this point. But we kind of came in late to it, but we still managed to do it.
I mean, we're getting millions of views a month.
We were getting millions of views a month at one point. We were basically doing comics and conventions full time for a while. But it just got to a point where the money just wasn't there, and we had to walk away from it. So.
But I'm just saying, my point is, don't think you can't. You can. My mom always, said, if you want something bad enough and you're willing to work hard for it, you can do whatever. And you just got to find out what makes you, what makes you special, what about you. I mean, not anything pervy, people, but what about you would be something that people would resonate with other people, and that they would, they would come to watch what you're doing, or to read what you're writing, or find it. There's other ways you can attract an audience. You don't have to just be on YouTube. You don't have to.
No, and
you can be a shy person, and there's people that are scared of the people, and they still have an audience.
Yeah, so. I mean, you can find people through different social media platforms. I know people who are blowing up on Instagram. I know people who are blowing up. We had Tumblr for a while, was working. What are we doing? What am I looking at? Funny. Which Geeky is love. Yes, Geeky is love. Except if I don't listen to Geeky, then
he got in trouble earlier.
Mistress Geeky will punish me fiercely. But no, I just we wanted to do this video just to show you guys like this. And again, with everything going on with Indiegogo and all of that and crap, this is the future. This is the future of comics. Not just giant vegetables beating the crap out of each other, but the future of comics is just make what you want to make, connect with your audience, and sell to them directly. And if it leads to other options to sell in comic shops or you know, whatever, book deals or whatever, that's cool. But you know what? That might not be the best option. We know what the money's like in traditional publishing, and it's not good.
Yeah, you don't want that.
It's not good. Like you're talking advances. Like if you get a book deal of like First, Second, or Scholastic, you're talking at the higher end now, like $15,000 to $25,000 for what is basically 3 years of work. You know, it's not good money.
Yeah. So listen to me when I tell you, you don't want to go there anyway, and they can't stop you. If you want to do it, you can do it. You don't have to have their permission.
Nope.
To do what you want to do. Like you said earlier with Labyrinth, you know, you have no power over me, and they can't stand that. So you go screw them and do your own thing. That's what I'm gonna say. Just screw them all and go do what you're gonna do.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, I think why they're freaking out. You want to talk about charisma? A lot of these people who are working in comics now, I'm gonna be brutally honest. Like, if they did not jump into a seat that was already warmed for them, into a job that was already created for them, they would not be able to go out and start their own thing from scratch. I have a hell of a lot of respect for people, even if I disagree with them. If they go out and they start their own thing, they build their own audience from scratch. A lot of the people working comics now, they're just hired help. And
they don't really have that grit, that you know, drive to do it. So anyway.
So you know, if you want to
show them the link again, where to go.
Show you guys the link again. If you go to Amazon, I think that's the only place you can buy it right now.
I don't, as far as I know, it's Amazon.
Is Teenage Fighting Food Dudes. And again, I don't think Chadtronic has a lot of experience with this because it's not listed in graphic novels. I think he'd probably get a lot more people finding the book. But again, he might draw unwanted attention.
Oh, this is Ben 10 Dragon. We're talking about She-Ra.
Oh, we're talking about She-Ra, Ben 10 Dragon. Oh, God.
And you know what? I will say, we're going to do the review on Rainbow Bright, but they made Rainbow Bright look as... kept the big ponytail because, you know, she is Rainbow Bright after all. But in the first issue, they made her look as boyish as possible.
Yeah.
So apparently, you know, you only can be a strong female character if you look like a boy.
Yeah, we're gonna do a review of Rainbow Bright #1. It was interesting. Did not go the way I expected it to, but I was kind of like, oh my god. Okay, Geeky has more thoughts than I do on it.
I do have more thoughts. I have lots of thoughts. Okay, so anyway, are we ready to wrap this up?
I think we're going to wrap this up. Please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture rants and views and gaming videos, art videos. We're going to ramp up the art content.
We do lots of things.
Yeah, and we're looking at some options.
You never know what you're going to get from us.
We want to start getting into making more of our own stuff again. So we're going to, try to ramp up.
Yeah, you better start working on that.
I'm going to.
All right.
I'm excited. I'm actually excited about comics. Go be excited about comics. Go be happy. Don't let these miserable people take your joy.
I guess that's my takeaway after all this is, don't let them have, if they only have power if you give it to them.
Yeah.
So don't let them have it. I mean, just they want to yell and scream on Twitter and, whatever. Let them yell and scream on Twitter or whatever. If some guy wants to basically yell and scream at me about my video on Star Wars, he can go ahead and yell and scream at me. But I still stand by the fact that as a female, is he mansplaining me because he's trying to tell me what I should think about people of my own gender.
He totally is.
Yes.
So
but I'm
they're
just
saying, sad people. Don't be
just,
sad, miserable people.
Yeah. Just do your own thing and screw them.
Yeah.
Don't screw them literally.
No.
I mean... Some of them, I think, are more than willing to screw whoever.
God,
don't
no.
screw them.
That's not a mental image I want.
Well, from that one guy's story. Never mind. Anyway.
Yes,
yeah,
you guys, you do have the power.
You have the power.
You have the power as creators. You have the power as consumers. You do not need the mainstream comic book industry. If these people are irritating you, just shut them off. Leave
Turn
Twitter.
them off and go do
Turn off Twitter.
Because you know what's going to make them even more mad
if
you're like a Chadtronic and you go and do your own thing and you succeed. Success is just going to make them angry.
Live well, and that's the best revenge, right?
Yep. That's the best thing in any way. Just live well in general.
Yep.
All right. And they want more Bowsette, so you're going to have to do that next time.
Oh my God, I'll do more Bowsette. Okay. All right, guys. So please subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chats. Didn't have to do that, but we do appreciate it. And we will talk to you all
go make
later.
cool stuff. Bye.
Okay, bye.